Okay, well that was an interesting start to the show. Sorry about that for the delay. Right at the last second, for some inexplicable reason, our entire broadcasting computer just went down. So luckily Jack was next to me, passing messages onto the chat, explaining that we're a little bit low. We're here now. Who knows what happens? I did 3 restarts just to actually get the machine up and running again. And we're up and running. So hello to everybody in the chat, and hello. Today we are going to be having a look at Generals. You know what? I haven't checked any of the cameras working. Generals Handbook 2019. We have the Pitch Battle Profiles booklet, which, as you can see, is a nice thin booklet with just the rules in. And then we have the full-on Generals Handbook with all of the rules and everything. So points, rules, points, rules.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's good about that. I quite like the fact they've separated out the points. I mean, the reality is...
it makes it less chunky, doesn't it?
Yeah, once you've built your army, it's that much less book to carry around.
I think it's all online as well, isn't it?
Exactly.
The scroll builder, so...
Exactly. So, right. I'm really hoping... Can somebody say you can hear me okay? And that's the main thing, because we did have a last-minute crash, and it does look like we've got a delay on the camera as well. So apologies. Hopefully, it's not really about our faces anyway, is it? So the sound is still going to come through to you guys. Right. We're going to have some serious rebuild on the computer, and I've got a horrible feeling. Can you put the code in there?
Mm-hmm.
Right, okay. Let's get into the book first and see if we can just try and push on with this show. If it all starts falling to pieces, we'll just call the show an end and start afresh. But what have we got? Generals Handbook 2019. Format's very familiar by now.
Yeah.
To war, interesting stuff, real focus on player's code.
Which
Like that.
Yeah, like that.
Open play games, narrative play games, match play games, Conquest Unbound.
Yeah.
Which is about allegiances.
Allegiance, yeah.
And we've got things like the Darkling Covenants, Dispossess, Free Peoples. We've got allegiance abilities for Seraphin and Wanderers, Slaves to Darkness, and Iron Jaws.
Yeah. So
Okay.
kind of got rid of the ones that were in there and now have books.
Exactly. So a refresh of that section. You know, exactly, those that have books don't need their allegiance abilities in here anymore, and those that are still awaiting books, or at least a significant update.
Yeah.
Seraphin has to be a classic one in there for me.
Yeah.
You know, and because you have to kind of look through that list and think, you know, we've got Iron Jaws in there, we've got Seraphins, we've got Slaves to Darkness, that I would argue sits amongst the new range. But then you've got Darklings, Dispossess, Free People, and Wanderers, which kind of sits amongst the old range of models, doesn't it?
Well, Slaves to Darkness is old range. That's all the old
Oh,
fantasy
of course
models,
it is, yeah.
But no, yeah. I mean, Iron Jaws and Seraphim are the only ones with books in there. The rest are just compendium armies.
Yeah. Mark, you're absolutely right. There is a bit of a lip sync issue, and I think that's to do with the fact that our machine crashed literally just before we went live. And right now, I either have to cancel the show or just soldier on with a lip sync issue. So, seeing as though most of it's going to be looking at the book, we're just going to have to excuse the lip sync issue. I'm really sorry about that. Hello, everyone, and greetings from Germany, says Demon Lizard. Right, okay. I want to talk about some of the stuff that really stood out for me first, and then we'll have a couple of little bits of looking for you. First and foremost, I really like Player's Code.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
So this is about sort of some cardinal rules: polite and respectful, always tell the truth, never cheat.
Yeah.
And then you've got these principal rules, if you like: arrive on time with the things you need to play, never complain about your bad luck or your opponent's good luck. I think you know, I've definitely fallen for that one a few times. Well, Jack, why can't I roll anything above a 3 and you can't roll anything below a 5? So it happens. We know we go there, but it is a great reminder to mention that.
Yeah, it is interesting that they're starting to put this in now. It's forming more, as Games Workshop's gone on, it's formed more of a community and kind of a friendly atmosphere now. So it's good that they're now reminding you of what you should be doing and the principles you need to have when playing the game.
And you know, at the end of the day, we do this to have fun.
Yeah.
And I think it's good to have some reminders that we're meant to be doing this to have fun, not to be overly crazy. Open play. What I want to do, by the way, just for the rest, I will be reviewing the chat. We'll be going back
Yeah.
up through the chat, but we're going to have a quick look through the book first, and then I think this show's going to be about 30-40 minutes maximum, hopefully.
Yeah.
We'll try for that, because you've got stuff to do. You're still in
Yeah.
the middle of your A-levels and revision
Yeah.
to do. And I've got stuff to do, like tidying up the mess from the last night's show. Okay, so open play. Anything in here that really stood out for you in terms of the open play stuff? I mean...
I like... Well, they have fleshed it out quite a lot now, haven't they? I mean, open play used to just be the cards and the ruses and stuff like that. But now they've got this whole unit types and army generator, which I find quite interesting. It kind of almost, people were turned off open play because of the lack of balance in it. But now they've kind of added an aspect of balance to open play now, which I quite like.
Yeah. That's not going to work. So we're
No.
just going to put. We lost one of our cameras, unfortunately. So showing close-ups is going to be a bit tricky. What's interesting then? We've got this whole idea of an army generator for open play.
Unit types.
To me, I think this is good fun. Mainly because open play is always one of those things. It's kind of difficult where it takes a lot of negotiation
and
between
restraint,
players.
Doesn't it, from yourself, yeah.
Yeah, you kind of like making sure you don't take all of your powerful units.
Yeah.
And I think that works, but you don't always have time to kind of create that narrative between you. So what you've got is a narrative generator in many respects.
Yeah.
And what I mean by a narrative generator is we've got this ability of Horde, Regular, Elite, Guard, Line Breaker, Gargantuan, Champion, and Conqueror units. And the way this basically works is you generate your army by rolling dice, which I think is absolutely brilliant.
And another thing to mention is this idea of force point limits. So if you're playing a small game, you have 15 force points, and then each thing you roll has a certain number of force points.
So a good example would be, we've agreed on a small game, which would be 15 points limit each. The typical unit is between 10 and 15 units. I pick up a set of dice. I've won the roll-off, so I get to pick my unit first. I roll 2 dice, and I get a 4 and a 2. And that means I can select for 4 force points, 1 champion and 1 gargantuan model out of my collection. Just douche, pick that.
And then you deploy that. And then I go into generation. I generate something. I get a 3 and a 4.
So
that's a champion and 2 regular or elite infantries. For 3 force points. I deploy that, and then it goes back to you again.
And there's various amendments to this. You can make a replacement. So if you don't have the models, you can actually make a substitution. That camera's not meant to be working. Now that camera's working. I give up. You make a substitution, so you can say, well, I don't have a gargantuan, so I can substitute a horde or a regular or elite or a guard or a line breaker or a champion. I mean, essentially, you can substitute anything for anything other than the gargantuan. You can't bring a gargantuan in.
I mean, there's even
horde.
stuff like endless spells in there. On one of them, I think I saw. So if you go across, like this 1 and a 6 an endless spell, so you can actually even start adding endless spells to your units.
That's absolutely right. You generate endless spells. So an endless spell is generated by the army generator. You can pick 1 endless spell of your choice. All wizards in your army know the endless spell and can use and reuse 1 model of the appropriate type during the battle. If you generate 1 or more endless spells, you must pick a different endless spell. Love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So we're going to do this. We were talking through this and said, you know what, that will actually make, right from generation to playing it, maybe like a live, small 15 force point battle report. We'll do this in this studio rather than the main studio. And we can have like a 4x4 table. And we'll go right through generating, picking the model, and just seeing what happens. And you're going to be using forces you would never table. And at the same time encountering forces you would never encounter. So it's going to be fun. I'm not going to go too much into it. They've done a lot more on Open War. There's terrain generation now, which I think is really nice.
Yeah, this is interesting. The ability to have like tables of where your terrain's going to be going.
With the table divided into 1-foot squares, and you're either actually placing within the square or at the intersection of a square. I don't know whether this camera is going to behave itself, but if it is, nope, it's really not. That's so annoying. It's working in one instance, but not the other. So we'll give up. And I really don't want to mess around with the settings on the camera, seeing as though we've had a complete fail this morning. There's close quarters generator. So you know what's nice about this is you've got the twist. One player rolls a dice and looks up the result of a twist table. So again, you're playing kind of twist and overflow, deadly territory. But the idea of this is you're right on each other's. When you're on the territories, you're right next to each other at the start of the battle. So gets you straight into. I think this is really quite nice to play for combat armies and those kind of things, and you know gives them a little bit more range in the missions basically. But what I do want to do, without getting into things like the hidden agendas, and we will, like I say, review points and stuff for people who are waiting on the chat to say what's happened to my unit. That's what we're going to do in the last 10 minutes of the show. We're going to have a quick look through the points. There's some interesting stuff on Streets of Death. I think that's really quite nice now. And also the fact that they've introduced...
Regiments of Renown, I like that.
Yeah, Regiments of Renown.
So it's not just about your heroes, you know, if you're playing a narrative game or a Path to Glory or something, you've had, you know, I don't know, one unit of Hearthguard Berserkers that's just been pulling your entire army this campaign. You can now make them this almost renowned unit.
So let's just see. Is that actually going to... There we go. So we can actually pick up some of this. Yeah. So there's a specialist table, you know, with a D6. So fleet, add 2 to the move characteristics of this unit.
Yeah, I mean, there's different parts, so you can either be like scouts, outriders, juggernauts, marksmen, all these different kind of traits to give your units.
Which is cool. A nice little, again, addition to it, and it forms that narrative side of the story making, doesn't it? Where your units and your characters
you start to get a connection to your units, because you know we all get connections to characters and stuff, don't we? But it's kind of this connection to the unit which I quite like now, making units special as well as your characters.
And we were kind of saying we've been heavily focused on charging towards the doubles tournament, which means a lot of our focus has been practicing match play. So you know it's all been about optimizing the list. We've not gone crazy on optimization because we'd chosen some of the units we wanted to field a long time ago, but even so, you know you're optimizing and tweaking the list, and it's nice to go back to a format that says, actually, you know what, let's just play some games which are about fun, where we're not overly selecting the units. Nobody's really counting the points that closely. We've got this nice table now that goes, you can't really complain. It's like, you must go into some of those games going, well, I'm definitely going to get squished here.
Yeah.
So the question is how long can I survive?
How long can I stop myself getting squished?
You change the parameter of success, don't you? You know, it's how much fun can I make this for my opponent? We played a game recently, didn't we, which was Fire Slayers versus Free Peoples against massive gun lines. And I took out all my magma drops and made myself as slow as possible, which is insane. I know it was. But I was like, you know what? I wonder if I can steadily march across a massive gun line and make a difference. And I think I was only 2 or 3 points out of a win, wasn't I? I mean, you won, but it was pretty close.
It was close.
And I learned a lot about using those units more in terms of movement and stuff when I was forced to not have the speed of the magma drops, you know. And so I think this is
it makes you, because you know you do get into this almost this rut, don't you, where you have these certain units that you really like to play because you know they're really powerful, so you just take them every single time over and over again. And I think kind of that open play generation, it forces you to use some different units you haven't used in a while, or a new combination that actually might be really good. It might not, but you know, you give it a go.
Another favourite section for me, and it's a little bit of a shame they haven't covered every faction, but I won't be surprised if you start to see this more and more in battle tones. Because I do like the fact you can name your characters. So Iden of Deepkin, one of my armies, you know, roll a d6, I get a 5, so I get Terafis, Terafis Volhunus, the Drowned Lord, for instance, you know, and to be able to create these, there's not a huge amount of them. There's like, you know, 6, you know, 6 first names, 6 last names.
6 first, 6 last, 6 titles, you know, that's quite a lot of
You're
options.
You're good at math.
There.
How many options does that create? 6 to the power of 3? No.
No.
6 times 6 times 6.
Yeah, which is 6 to the power of 3. It's like 180 something.
Something like that.
Yeah,
there's a few in there. There's a few in there. Okay.
No, 216. That's what I'm going with.
Okay, all right, yeah. But I tell you what, let's not do the math at this time of day. If anybody saw the late night live show, Jack was also out late night as well. So we're it's fair to say we're a little bit shonky this morning, aren't Okay, so really like that. Mercenary companies. I don't think we can kind of mention this handbook without mentioning the mercenary companies.
It's something
You know,
quite new.
there's some very cool ones in there for sure. One of my favourites is the Black Smoke Battery. Let's see if we can get this. Actually, is this going to behave itself again? Can we pull this up? No, it's not. Oh, it is. So we're just pulling up the Black Smoke Battery there. So this is a mercenary company. You can have 0 to 1 cogsmiths, 1 to 3 cannons and organ guns in any combination, a gyrocopter, a gyro bomber. What's really cool about that last unit is you add 1 to hits for attacks made by the cannons and organ guns from the company if a gyrocopter or gyro bomber from the mercenary company is within 12 inches of the target.
Which is pretty insane.
So sending that little gyrocopter forward. Now the great news is I have a cogsmith and I have a gyrocopter. So all I've got to do is add a couple of cannons or organ guns. And are the organ guns dispossessed though, or are they human?
Well, no, they are dwarf crews, but you know they're Ironweld Arsenal,
right? Okay.
Along with the Hellblasters and stuff.
So I like the idea of adding those, but I'm not quite sure what to do about the crews at the moment. What I was thinking was, yeah, I know, but the dispossessed are a little bit compared to say Fire Slayers and stuff like that. One of the things I was thinking is using some spares from Caradron Overlords.
Yeah, that would be
interesting.
Kind of,
you know, and get rid of the iron face and put the normal heads back on, but you know, something like that. But that's definitely something. Great conversion opportunity and a nice little extra unit to add to the army.
Organ guns are awesome.
Yeah, and to be honest, the Cogsmith model's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a great model.
You can't go wrong with artillery.
No, never. And the gyro bomber. I've got the gyrocopter. I haven't got the gyro bomber. Or is it the same kit? I think it's a separate kit.
No, I think it's the same kit.
Oh, okay, I'll need to decide which one I'm going to make. Great stuff anyway. Right, we've got... I tell you what, I want to pick up... let's go to what you want to pick up first. Because you want to talk about pitch battles for 2019.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So, some significant changes. What are we talking about here?
Most significant changes, there's 6 new battle plans. The names will be very familiar because they are the same names from the 2018 book, but reworked a bit. And something also interesting is this 2018 battle plan's optional, so you can decide to either use the 2018 version of the battle plans or the 2019 versions, with the exception of which one was it? I think it's Places of Arcane Power. The only exception is, Places of Arcane Power, you must use the 2019 version because they balanced it a bit because it used to only be like wizards that could hold the objectives. So Fire Slayers and Dwarves went to that and just went, oh dear.
3 sets of battle plans then. We've got the battle plan Blood and Glory for you to take hold. Table 2, Knife to the Heart down to Scorched Earth. And then 3, Total Commitment down to Relocation Orb,
Yeah.
So as you said, names have not changed. You do have an option of playing the 2018s.
Yep.
But there's been some balance work done and some changes. Nothing really significantly changing on pitch battle chart.
No. Allies were all the same.
Yep.
Scenery's all the same. The composition's all the same, which, you know, I didn't really expect that to change much.
Okay, so command points. You can purchase 1 extra command points for 50 points. Add extra command point to the command points you receive at the start of the battle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, while we're talking about that then, command points as well.
That's over on.
There is some change around this though, so do we want to talk through this?
Yeah, there's 3 new command abilities you can all use. So you know in the old Generals Handbook you had, what was it, instant 6-inch run, reroll a charge, or immune to battle shock. You've now got reroll all hit rolls of 1 in combat.
Yeah.
Reroll all save rolls of 1, and reroll all hit rolls of 1 in shooting.
Okay. But same limitation though, yeah? 12 inch for a friendly hero.
Or 18 inches if it's the general. And wholly within, of course.
Wholly within.
Yeah.
Not surprised to see that at all.
So I think it's interesting that they're starting to do this now because, you know, I think for the newer armies this isn't going to help as much because, you know, there's just so many good things to spend your command abilities on. But for the older armies like, you know, the Gutbusters and these armies that command abilities weren't really built for the command point system, I think this is going to be really useful now.
Yeah, because they are good command points.
Yeah, they are good.
You know, we've always maintained if you can do anything about hits and wounds.
Yeah, always
it's good. Significant.
Yeah.
You know,
like
D6 system. 1 makes a difference.
And it's like for me with my Daughters of Cain army, the 1,000 points I'm taking to the tournament, my general doesn't have a command ability.
Okay.
So I can now use the command points to benefit my units more than just making them run faster or
So
something.
when you're charging your daughters in, you could give a reroll hits of 1,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
instance, on that
yeah.
unit. So what would that turn them to? I mean, what are those daughters
They
going
normally
in
hit
at?
on 3s.
So hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s is pretty good.
Yeah,
That's 50%
yeah.
of the fails getting a reroll. There's no harm in that.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else as well that we need to talk about?
Triumphs have been fleshed out, so
Right.
there's now 6 different triumphs you can use, which is interesting because I think there only used to be 3. I might be mistaken because we always forget to use triumphs. But you can now, reroll all hits, reroll all wounds, reroll all saves. I think there's immune to battle shot. You can reroll, run, or charge, and you can use a command ability without having a command point being spent, which is nice.
What?
Yeah,
Wow.
on number 6. Cunning. Once per battle, when you use a command ability, you can say that you're being cunning. If you do so, you do not have to spend a command point to use that command ability this time. So, they're all one use only, but they can help. I mean, you're charging a big unit into another big unit. You're like, right, I need to kill these, so good job I got my triumph in the bag.
So 2 things then. No, triumphs have shifted a little bit, but also the ability now to be able to use them if you've simply gone with lower points.
Yeah.
So taking that gambit of undercutting your opponent.
Yeah.
Because when you're doing tournament lists, you tend to try and optimize to the exact point because the belief is you get more out of that, you know. But the reality is, there's probably an advantage, isn't there, to kind of go for the extra. You go 50 points down, you've got an extra command point, and
no, I was just about to say that. That's something that I've noticed they've changed. So in the old Generals Handbook, it says for every 50 points down you were from the total amount, you gain 1 command point. But now here it's you can purchase up to 1 extra command points for 50 points. So say you're a 1950 army and you decide, actually, I want my extra command point. You are a 2,000 point army plus a command point. So you won't get the triumph in that situation.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. That's something I just picked up.
That's significant. Okay, let's have a look at some of the scenery because I think it's quite nice now. We've got 2 sets of scenery, Table A and Table B. We expected this because you could kind of see it from the community stuff when they started talking about it. They showed some of the different icons, and we saw that on the live show the other day. What we do have is some nice stuff, really overgrown. So the impact of this is
Citadel wood.
Exactly. This is like the wood. So overgrown terrain feature. The scenery rule does not apply if either the models can fly, but essentially, if you can't draw a straight line between them, that crosses over more than one.
It's a line of side block, which
It's
I
a line
quite
of
like.
side blocker.
You know,
I think that's interesting. For instance, is a hedge can become overgrown. You know, and that's really nice. And sometimes you've got tall columns and stuff like that, which don't really block line of sight because of that whole rule that as long as any part of the model can see any part of the model. Whereas now you can kind of argue, well, actually the closest part of the bases is crossing over it, so that constitutes as a line of sight blocker. Entangled, subtract 2 for a run and charge.
I mean, you've got volcanic, it'll explode and do multiple wounds.
Which would be great for the Fire Slayer actually table we've got. I mean, there's a temptation to literally just make everything volcanic. And it's like it's a survival game. Like a Death World from the 40k mark.
You've got stuff about command points, healing your units, stopping wizards from doing spells.
Healing's an interesting one. It's on a 6, you can heal D3 wounds allocated to a unit that's within 1 inch. You know, so it's a once per game thing. If you think 5 turns, you know, it's a kind of.
It's not massive. It's not going to become overpowered, but you know, it's nice if it goes off.
Yeah, but it is at the start of your hero phase. So, like I say, it is a once per game thing. If it goes off and you get a couple of wounds back onto a hero,
it goes off. Nice, but
you know, and of course, you know, you roll 6s every time.
It's one of these though. It's just doubled the amount of things scenery do now. 'Cause, you know, a lot of people just skip over scenery. I mean, I know we're really bad for it. We hardly ever use scenery, and whenever we do, we forget we've used scenery. But I think now it's kind of fleshed it out. It's one of those like, this could actually make quite a big difference now. So we do need to use it.
I think the scenery table is one of those things that everybody should photocopy, print out, and stick up next to their table.
Or
just as that reminder,
stick on the front of their book.
exactly.
Scenery.
It's there all the time. Use it. Right, okay. One of the things I wanted to have a look at then, because we do have some new missions.
battle
We can go through the new
plans,
battle plans,
yeah.
but let's just take this one for instance. Star Strike is interesting because I think this is quite a change.
Yeah, so
we've got
are all the old battle plans reimagined, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. So if we were to take this one for instance,
So now there's lots of places where the star can land.
and essentially, I'm assuming because there's 12. This is a 2d6 and referred to the map
Starts
below.
on 2,
So there's a little bit more range to where it's going to land, as opposed to before there was 3 places it could land.
It could drop.
Whereas now there's 12 places it can drop on the table, 6 inches apart. Which I think, again, it's a subtle shift.
Yeah.
It's no more complex to play because you're still rolling dice at the end of the day, and yet can have a big impact.
Yeah.
Certainly for slow armies, that 6 inches closer might just make a difference. Or ironically, 6 inches further away might make a difference. Okay, I'd like to have a look at. Let me see. I think meeting engagements probably my favourite.
Yeah,
I've seen a question
really
for
like
this.
this.
So, what's meeting engagements about? Essentially, it's 1,000-point game format. Really excited by that.
Yeah.
Table size is interesting, and I need to try and find it now. But essentially, think 3 foot by 4 foot. Roughly, it's dining table size is the idea, and I think they actually
30 to 36 by 40 to 48.
There you go, 30 to 36 by 40 to 48 is your battle plan size. It's 1,000 points. What you actually do though that is interesting is your army gets divided up into spearhead, main body, and rear guard. So I'm just going to see if I can pull that table up, see if this will work. Yeah, we're still working. So as you can see. With the spearhead, you have 0 to 1 leaders, behemoth 0, 0 artillery, 1 battle line, and other units 2. Whereas the main body, you've got a little bit more, 1 to 2 leaders, and then the rear guard, etc., which you can kind of bring in any. So, and it's up to 2 units per war scroll is the limit. So no spamming the war scroll.
Right, okay. So you can't have 3 units of witch elves coming on your main body. You can only have 2.
You can only have 2.
That's cool.
And in fact, actually, your main body would be limited to 1 to 2 anyway. But it stops you doing 1 unit of witches as your spearhead, 2 units of witches in your main body, and then another unit of witches in your rear guard.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You've got a limit of 2.
Yeah.
So the idea is you break the unit up, and then where it really comes into is these meeting engagement battle plans. And I'm going to show one example here. So we've got, here we go. As you can see on this battle plan, at the start, so you've got turn 1, turn 2, and start. So at the start, the main body comes on this one, and it comes on the side of the table there on the opposing sides. And yet in turn 1 on opposite sides your spearhead arrive, and in turn 2 your reserves arrive from opposite sides as well. So again, this really kind of nice complex deployment. By arriving, you place the model within 6 inches of the table edge, basically. And there's a bit of a weird...
No, 3.
3 inches. 3 inches of the table edge. Now, this is a weird rule. And I say it's a little bit of a weird rule. You're not allowed to go further than 3 inches on, even if your model is bigger than 3 inches.
So you overhang the edge, don't you?
Yeah, and there is a special rule called overflow. So essentially, it doesn't fit on. In which case, you can let the back of the model, the rear of the model,
off the table,
overhang off the table. Now, it's not the end of the world because it's for the turn before you start your movement, and you're on the end of the table. And really, what you would just do is measure your movement, maybe, and because terrifies me it's hanging over, but it does get around. I get why they've done it,
because things with big bases, you gain that extra couple inches
when everybody else is limited to 3. Gaining an extra 2 inches is a big deal on that first movement, and this is small games in fairly close confines. So you bring your force org on over the first 2 turns. Basically, you've got the start of the game, turn 1 and turn 2. Bringing on your spearhead, your main body, your rear guard in different orders depending on the battle. So we've got a couple here in terms of missions. We've got Center Ground, Death Pass, Borderline, the Raid, and Changing Priorities and Rearguard Action. So let's have a look at something like, should we take a quick look at this Rearguard Action one here? So, objective is set up 3 objectives on the centre line. Each player's territory is shown on the map. Players roll off and the winner decides who will command the red army and who will command the blue army. The players then alternate setting up units one at a time, starting with the player who won roll off. The red player sets up units from their spearhead contingent, and the blue player sets up units from their rearguard. So we're
That's
now
interesting,
alternating.
yeah.
Start of the game, rearguard, spearhead. So this
That's
is like
cool.
kind of chasing an army, maybe,
Yeah.
is the idea, yeah, because it's rearguard.
Yeah.
So you're pursuing an army, or
Yeah.
you know, those kind of things. You continue to set up until both players have set up first contingent. Remaining contingents arrive as described. So turn 1, main contingent of the force arrives opposite corners.
That's
Turn 2,
interesting.
rearguard and your spearhead
Yeah.
arrive
Yeah.
opposite corners. And again, the fact that these are structured in such a way that your spearhead really is limited to 1 or 2, you know, maximum
Yeah.
of 3 units,
1
4
leader,
units.
1 battle line.
Yeah.
Well, 0 to 1. I mean,
0
you
to
don't even have to have anything in your spearhead.
No, I think you have to put something in there though. You must split your army into a spearhead contingent,
Right, so you
you
must
can't
have
just
something.
ignore it.
Yeah.
So you've got to at least put a minimum
Yeah.
of something in there. And again, this is an interesting one. Really broad deployment. Again,
Yeah.
3 objectives. Turn 1, main contingent at opposite ends.
Yeah.
Bear in mind that this is only 4 foot now, so. It does make you think that depending on the mission you're playing, you have to be careful because you think, oh, well, the spearhead, I'm going to put shooting so I can get some rapid engagement. But the missions don't always bring the spearhead first. That's,
that's
spearhead
the thing,
at this. Well, in this instance, the spearhead is at the start, actually, but this is a changing priorities mission. I really like that.
I think it's just a new way to play Sigmar, isn't it? It's just something more to do.
We're definitely going to be doing
Yeah.
that because the reality is most of the games we get chance to play, we already play a kind of 1,000-point 4x4. I'm
Yeah.
talking about evening games when
Yeah,
we're just trying
yeah.
missions out and those kind of
Just
things.
having a bit of fun.
So this is a nice little
Yeah.
format. And as daft as it sounds as well on the 4x4 table, which you've got some room to actually put your models down.
Yeah.
Okay, there is a structure for meeting engagement tournaments, which talks about how, they're pointed, major victory, 60 points, 40 points. What I really like about meeting engagements is I think this is the mini tournament format for you and your mates.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Why not run an ad hoc? Okay, great for clubs because, again, fast and the chances are you can get
fast and
several
small
games in the game.
units, doesn't take up a lot of
Exactly.
space.
And yet, even for your mates, let's run a tournament over 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And you've got the format all laid out for you.
Yeah,
You call in the scoring
yeah.
and everything.
And we're getting this opponent's painting, opponent's etiquette. Opponent arrived before the round started. Opponent shook your hand before and after the game, or offered to do so. This is you're getting rewarded for being like a good human at this point. I like that because it's making it more friendly. And Games Workshop have always strived to make their games friendly and welcoming to everyone. So I think it's nice now, even at a tournament scene, you're getting rewarded for this.
Exactly, and it's good that they're thinking about that, and it's
Yeah.
significant as well.
Yeah.
You're building.
It
points
means a
up.
lot, doesn't it? I mean, it means a lot if your opponent just sits down and goes "Ugh," and then puts his army on the table. It's not as you are there to have fun. Yes, you're doing a tournament, but you're there to meet people and have fun. Like what I was saying when I did the doubles tournament with Liam, some of the best parts about it was meeting all these new people and hearing about their armies and stuff.
Yeah, exactly, and it is that social aspect that really quite
it's
good.
one of the best parts about the hobby for me.
What I'm going to do, I'm going to have a quick look at the chat because we are, how much time are we in? 34 minutes into it. So let's have a quick look at the chat, see what we're catching up with, and then we'll answer some questions.
You're looking for your mouse, aren't you?
Where's the mouse
There.
pointer gone?
There we
There it is. Here we go. Right, okay. Furious George, thank you for joining us. And Hagsonite as well, saying holy moly. Furious George, hope Rachel's head is okay this morning. So for those of you who didn't see last night's live show, we did a live painting with the new contrast paints with Rachel. Rachel painting a unit for the first time ever. 20
We're very
skinks in
proud.
2 hours.
We are
Very proud, very proud.
That
Yes, the session did continue after the show as well, but there wasn't much painting done in that session. Will we be discussing point changes? Yes, if you've got questions, just ask, but we're going to have a quick look through each of the factions anyway, just to give you an idea. Furious George is in there, Ralph is in there, Mark is in there, Mark Burgess, hey there. I have pre-ordered Generals Handbook 2. What are we at now? Okay, there's a name that... so this is someone who's joined us, I think, from... Somebody
Korea.
said Korea, wasn't it? So
Yeah.
thank you very much for joining us. I'm afraid I can't recognise that actual... how to pronounce those symbols. So I'm just going to say our Korean fellow. There you go. Unless you want to give us a way of saying it. Yay. So Kraken, I want to see Nurgle points. Okay, no problem. We'll get there. And what have we got here? Tonino, Edge. I'm not quite sure. That was a second comment. There is.
Interesting. Carriage on Overlords.
Oh, that's lip sync, isn't it?
Interesting.
Carriage on Overlords. Carriage on Overlords. And then there's a little bit of chat about Age of Sigmar players in Korea. And there we are. Where are we now? Random camera for the win. I have been having a few issues today. Legion of Azog Fireglaves just got more deadly. Battle plans for meeting engagements. Well, we've covered those, hopefully. Or at least we've covered a couple of them. The kit can be either, and I think that was to do with the flying stuff. So let's talk about points. What did we have first in that list, or what did we have in that list?
It's all about the chaos first.
Yeah.
So somebody was asking for Nurgle, weren't they? So where's Maggotkin?
Maggotkin of Nurgle. Okay, so they've done that wonderful thing where they will they star out what's changed and what hasn't changed and those kind
Plague
of things.
Bearers haven't changed.
Which is cool. So what have we got?
We've
got
about Plague Bearers not
Lord
changing.
of Afflictions now 200 points. That's changed. Sloppity Bile Piper, Herald of Nurgle 90. Do you know whether these are up or down? Because you're not really super. We're not super close to Nurgle. I have to say, no Nurgle players on here. Spoilpox is 90 points now. Blobe Rotspawn is 240. Morbidix Twiceborn 240. Orghots Demon Spew 240. Quite a lot of changes.
Puscoil Blight Lords have gone down.
200 points.
Yeah, 200 points. The same with Lord of Afflictions.
Beast of Nurgle 80. And then you've got the Affliction Cyst and the Blight Cyst. So the War Scroll battalions have changed as well, going to 200 points. It's quite expensive for a War Scroll battalion.
They're quite good, though.
One would assume they do quite a lot.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's covered what you want to cover on the Nurgle. Well, it's certainly all of the changes for Nurgle. We're not missing anything there. Let's go through from front to back. I'm not going to list every single change, but we'll talk about it unless somebody asks a specific question saying, what are the points for this? Somebody was actually, let's go front to back. Where do we start? We start with Beasts of Chaos. So Gorz, Chaos Gargant, and Zangor Shaman have all changed within the Beasts of Chaos list.
Gorz
70, 200 points for a max of 30.
Gargant's gone down.
170.
Yeah.
And the Zangor Shaman at 160, which I think has gone up 20, hasn't it? Could be wrong there.
Yes, I think it has.
Razorgor's 50, Tuskegore Chariot 60. That was never brilliant, so 60 points probably makes it better. And the Zangor Enlightened on disc is now 160.
Yeah.
Maxing out at 9 units. With changes to all endless spells, the Doom Blast, the Raven Diaflock, and the Wildfire Taurus
They've
going
all gone down, I
50, 30, 80.
Yeah, they've definitely gone
Wildfire.
down. The Taurus was 100, I think.
Was it? Okay then.
Blades of Khorne haven't changed.
Blades of Khorne, no change
books.
whatsoever because it's a new book, although they did mention on the community site that...
Yeah, they did mention that they'll be releasing...
They'll be releasing some of this stuff, so...
We've got Seraphin, we need to look at them.
Disciples of Zeech, we've got Pink Horrors, the Changeling, the Gaunt Summoner,
Pink Horrors now.
Ogroid,
Zangor Pink Horrors have gone down.
So Pink Horrors at 180 for 10.
Yeah, they used to be 200.
Changeling at 180, Gaunt Summoner at 160, the Ogroid at 170, Blue Horrors of Zeech 90, Brimstone Horrors 60, Burning Chariots 150, Exalted Flamers 90. So
Yeah, you're getting quite a lot of changes, which is interesting.
Quite a lot, because we continue with Zeech over here. Flamers of Zeech 140, Zangor Enlightened 100, Enlightened on disc 160, Skyfires 200. That was needed. They've gone up, haven't they?
Yeah.
Zeech Chaos Spawn 50. So quite a lot of changes within the Zeech army. Those are reflected again inside Everchosen, the Gaunt Summoner on disc, but we also have the Varangard going to 260.
Yeah.
No changes whatsoever in Hedonites. Not surprised. That's a new book. Maggot King of Nurgle with
Skaven, no changes.
Skaven, no changes. Brand new book. No surprise. No changes. Slaves to Darkness, we're seeing Chaos Chariots move to 80 points. Chaos Marauder Horsemen, 80.
I think they've both gone down. Just a bit of a reshuffle there.
Allies, I don't think there's been any significant change on allies because there's been no significant faction changes. Death, nothing at all on Flesh Eater Courts, folks.
Yeah.
But again,
new book. But again, they were saying they're probably going to release a little PDF, aren't they, for all the new armies?
So what do you think for Flesh Eater Courts? You're a Flesh Eater Court player.
Oh,
what's right? What's wrong?
Abhorrent Archregent needs to go up massively. It's basically a free unit, so you need to pay something for it.
Yeah.
It's too insane at 200
What are you paying? 200 points, and you get 200 points.
Yeah, you get 200 points of ghouls, and you sit near a throne, and you don't even need to spend the command points. So he's just a free model that gives somebody D3 extra attacks.
Yeah, and that D3 extra attacks.
Huge.
That's huge. So you're going to see some changes there. I mean, you acknowledge that's
a
powerful
that
model.
Terrorgeist as well. The Ghoul King on Terrorgeist needs going up. He shouldn't be cheaper than a zombie dragon.
Yeah.
At only 400 points, he's vile.
I don't think we've seen changes to Zombie Dragon. No, we haven't.
No.
But we'll come back to that.
Crypt horrors might go down maybe because you're not seeing a lot of crypt horrors because crypt flayers are overshadowing them so much.
But let's just state this for the record: all of this is basically debate because right now nothing has changed for Flesh Eater.
Yeah, maybe nothing will change. I mean, I don't know.
Who knows? Legions of Nagash, we're seeing a punch up on Direwolves moving to 70 points.
Yep.
Big one for me, good old Nagash himself. He's moved up to 8,500 points.
8,500, folks. Finally, he's at a reasonable point cost.
So 850 points. Is that a 50-point increase for Nagash?
Yep.
Which
not enough.
We maintained. I think 100 points. We were kind of saying 100 points stops you doing him in a 1,000-point list. Unfortunately, you can still do him in 1,000 points because you can take 2 units of Direwolves,
2 units of zombies,
which would put you at 990, or you could take 2 units of zombies, which would put you at 970. So still doable.
Fantastic.
You gotta love that. What else have we got in the list though? Direwolves, Necromancer 130.
Goodness.
Archon the Black 140. I'm pretty certain that's down.
No, that's down.
Bloodseeker Palaquin 300 points.
to 380. I think she's gone down. I think
every one of the Mortarks have gone down. So Manfred, Neferata, all down to 380.
Yeah.
The Legion Black Coach 120.
Yeah.
We've talked about Nagash. Blood Knights 200. Graveguard
140. I think they've gone down
for 10. X-Rays 140.
More gas are both to 200.
More gas at 200. Both of them Harbinger, and Vargeist 150. There was one thing I think I noticed that one of the unit sides had shifted. I think
it's Graveguard.
Is it Graveguard?
Yeah, because Graveguard I think you used to take them in 5s, but now they're to 10s.
Wow. Okay. So 140 for 10.
And I think they were 80 for 5.
Were they?
I think if somebody can confirm, I'll have a look on War Scroll.
That'd be useful to know. So if somebody's out there, Mark Burgess is asking for Seraphin. We are on our way to Seraphin. Don't worry about it. There are some changes in Seraphin we're aware of. Nighthaunt, quite a lot of changes. The Deathblade Harrow to 90 points. The Knights of Shroud 100. Knights of Shroud on Steed 120.
Yeah.
Kurdos 200. Lady Olander 220. Reikenor 170, the Black Coach 260, the Chain Gas at 70, the Death Side
massive changes
80,
across Nighthaunt.
Grimrash Reapers 160, Hex Race 140, Mimer and Banshees 70. So huge change across that army basically.
Graveguard used to be 5 models for 80 points, so they have gone down.
Crikey. Good news for Destruction.
Oh yeah, Beastclaw Raiders finally gone down.
Stonehorn, what 300 points was?
320.
Thundertusk Beast Riders 320 was
gone down. He was 340, I think.
Okay, so we're seeing Ausbrow Hunter 120.
I think it was 140.
Huskard on Stonehorn 320.
I think he was 340.
Icefall Yetis 110.
No idea. Mournfang Pack have gone down.
Pack gone down.
Thank goodness.
There you go. So Bone Splitters untouched. Firebellies untouched. Is there just one Firebelly unit?
Yeah. Firebellies is literally just a Firebelly.
Greenskins, Orruk Boar Chariots down to 80. That's the only really change. Gloomspite Skits, no
changed,
surprise, no
but
changing again.
they
Covered
were
in that.
the
We'll see changes
pack they're
coming through for those
releasing.
in July. I think
Yeah.
they're talking about those changes.
Iron Jaws.
Iron Jaws.
I think they've gone down, you know. Mega Boss gone down. Gordrak to 560. I think he's gone down.
Megaboss on Maw Crusher 420, Ard Boys 140, Brutes
Have gone down by 10
170.
points. Whoop, whoop.
Then all battalions have shifted as well in points as well. And we're into order. So what have
Here
we got
go,
in order?
folks.
Okay, this is pretty
Fasten your
huge.
seatbelts.
Fasten your seatbelts for the orders.
Here we
Colgate Arcana units, Cestial Holocarum 300 points,
They've now
Luminarch
split them
of
up.
Heish 120, Battle Mage 110, Celestial Hurricanum with the Battle Mage 380, Luminarch of Hish with White Battle Mage 420. So you've been playing some of these. Sorry, 240. Did I say 120? That wouldn't be good. That would be amazing, but you know.
Oh, yeah.
What does that do for you? Because you've been playing those, haven't you? The Hurricanum.
Yeah, I always run it with a wizard because wizards are cool. And, I
And
think
what's
they-
the point change there?
I think
'Cause it's
they've gone
380
up.
now.
I think they've
It's gone up.
I think it was 360.
Darkling Covens, Bleak Swords, Dread Spears, both moving to 90 points.
That's
Sorcerers
down.
on Black Dragons, 260, and the Blackguard going to 120. Executioners staying where they are at 160. I'm surprised at that. They're pretty powerful. Right, what else have we got going on
Here we go. Here we go. Finally.
So this was pretty important for your tournament list.
My entire tournament list just went out the window when I looked at this, and it was, oh dear, I need to rework this.
Scott Baker. Hi, Scott Baker. There you go. I'm just going to shout that out. Patrick says, did they change the summoning points for Seraphin and Zeech, etc., as some units got price changes?
I don't think they changed the summoning
We'll
points.
revisit that, though, yeah?
Yeah.
We'll revisit it, but I don't think there was any change. Witch Elves and Hag Queen.
120.
This was the real kick in the teeth for your list.
So I understand it, but
Yeah.
it's still upsetting.
So Witch Elves are 120, Hag Queen goes to 90.
Going to 90. It's a 50% points increase.
Bloodstalkers 140,
Yeah,
and the
they're-
Canary Heartrenders 90.
Yeah, so Bloodstalkers were the only thing that went down, and they needed to go down. They needed to go down further.
Which one of the Bloodstalkers?
The
Help
bows.
me out. They're the bows,
The
the
snakes
half
with
snake
the
body with the
bows,
bows. Not a solid unit. You've
No,
never
they're
fielded
not,
them.
They're not great.
Will you field them at 140 points for 5?
No. It's one of those, it's like I could take 5 Bloodstalkers for 140 and maybe do something. Or
Yeah.
I could take 5 Blood Sisters for 140 and just run through units. So
Yeah,
what am I going to
know
do?
what you mean. Okay, Devoted of Sigmar, the Witch Hunter going to 40. That's it for that. Dispossessed unit, Warriors 90 points.
Down.
Rune Lord 80
Down,
points.
down,
Unforged 80. Warden
down.
King 100. Hammerers 140. So,
Whoop.
Eldritch Council unit. What have we got here? We've got
Swordmasters.
Swordmasters moving to 140. We've also got Inside Free Peoples. I'm really into Free Peoples at the moment because I've been fighting against them quite a bit. Free Guild General on Griffin 280.
He's gone up.
Good.
Yep.
He's ridiculous.
Yep.
Demigriffs on Knights 130.
They've gone down.
Ridiculous. Great Swords 120. Outriders
Up.
and Pistoliers.
Up.
Okay.
I think.
No change to Fire Slayers.
Yet.
Ironworld Arsenal. Cannon's gone to 140. Hellblaster Volley Gun 160. Steam Tank 240.
I think that's down.
Good news is Gyrocopter at 80. The Cogsmith at 100. I'm definitely seeing the chance of doing those.
Yeah.
What's the Organ Gun? 120.
Yeah.
So 240 on that. I'll stick a Gyrocopter in as well. That takes me to, where are we at? 320. So for 400 points, if I stick the... Oh, no. 420 if I stick the Cogsmith in. That's a nice little ally
Yeah,
contingent. Does
yeah.
that break the allowance?
No, because they're mercenaries, so they're not allies.
Boom!
I think.
Oh, no. They're still limited to the ally.
Are they?
Yeah. They're still limited.
Oh.
Okay, so here we go then. Iden of Deepkin.
Oh,
Shocker. Nemerati Thralls 130.
they've gone down.
Archelian Leviathan 350.
I think that's gone down.
I think it's gone down. Eidolon Mavlan Aspect of the Sea 420
I think that's
is
gone down.
gone
'Cause it
down.
used to be
Wasn't it 440 or 460 even?
440.
Ishran Soul Render 80 point.
Down.
Yep. Ishran Soul Scryer 130.
Up.
And
Up.
let's face it, needed to be up. So that's a
Yep.
fairly solid reflection, and that's even bear in mind I am an Idoneth player. The Morsar Guard 170.
Up.
Oh, we have missed a couple. Sorry, I do apologise. So Lotan is 80 down. Arkeli and Alapex
Down,
120 down, but not far enough. That's just a non-effect
I
unit.
think they could be 50 points, and they're not far enough, though, aren't they?
They need a new War Scroll.
Yeah, they need reworking the War
You'd
Scroll.
have to take their points so low to reflect the War Scroll that the model doesn't reflect the War Scroll.
Yeah.
Then. The model doesn't reflect the impact on the table. So, but anyway, that's another story. Nemerati Reavers 130.
Down.
Which way that's down, isn't it? Caradron Overlords, folks.
Woo!
I know somebody out there is waiting for them, so let's have a quick look at this. What have we got here? Grunstock Gunhauler 130. Down. Arcanaut Frigate 200. Arcanaut Ironclad 380. The Ether Chemist 140. And Brock Grundiston 240. We've also got Grunstock Thunderers to 90 and Skywardens to 100.
Here we go. Right, how much is the Ironclad?
Ironclad is now 380.
That's gone down by 40.
The Frigate is 200.
Down by 40.
Okay, let's go for the other boat. The Gunhauler 130.
Was 160, so down by
30 points.
What else have we got?
Let's just check out what's happened to the Thunderers then. These are down to 90. I think they're down at that.
Thunderers, yeah, they've gone down by 10.
Okay, so
And what else? Skywardens down to 100.
to
They
100.
were 120.
So down across the whole army.
Good.
Enough to make them interesting.
Good, yeah, I think...
Not enough to make them top tier.
No, I think that's more of a War Scroll thing. But, now you can fit a couple more boats in.
True.
And, I have seen them being used it takes a lot to use them effectively.
Yeah,
But I have seen them be used effectively.
It's perfecting the craft of the army,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah,
That one? They're ones that you have to invest
It's
a lot
of
of time.
bookkeeping. You've kind of got your footnotes, your
Of
codes
course,
and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
so
yeah.
it's a
Keeping
lot
on
of
top of that rule.
Yeah.
Let's just look at Lion Rangers, White Lions, 80 points, Dragon Lord, Dragon Blades, the Hydra, Pseudo Armies, Phoenix. Let's not focus too much on that one. Crikey. Okay, we've got...
on the phone.
What do you mean I'm on the phone? Oh, okay. Sorry about that,
There we
folks. Random camera change again. Seraphin.
Here we go.
Most of the army.
Yeah.
50 points for Razordons and Salamanders. Saurus Warriors to 90. Stegodon 200. Troglodon 140. Lord Croak 430. Skink Sarsier 160. Engine of the Gods 240. Saurus Old Blood on Carnosaur 240. Chameleon Skinks 110. Croxagore 150. Saurus Guard 80. Saurus Knights 80. Skinks. Oh my goodness. This is a
big
massive
changes.
overhaul in this army. So I'll tell you what. Let's take a break from looking at points, just for a second, because we're almost there.
That's in the other book.
I know we've got Stormcard, but what do you think we can check out?
It's at the back. There we go.
Summoning,
Look at
so
that.
Seraphin Legion's abilities.
I don't think any of it's changed.
None of this looks different to me.
No. Well, actually, we probably should mention with some of the Allegiance abilities, something interesting they've done is spell laws.
Oh, of course.
Seraphim and Ironjaws now have their own spell law table.
Yeah, which is nice. So we've got some good stuff here. Walk Between Realms. Walk Between Realms is a casting value of 6. Is successfully cast. Pick an enemy unit wholly within 18 inches of the caster, and it can fly until your next hero phase.
Yeah.
So like mobility stuff, meteoric
And it's
convocation.
it's interesting when you look at the slans that the
Slam wizards can attempt to unbind spells that are cast anywhere on the battlefield.
no, it's that one. That's it. They can basically chop and change what spell they have.
At the end of your hero phase, you can pick one friendly Slam wizard and replace the spell they know from the Seraphin spell lore table with a new spell from that table. Choose or roll the new spell, rolling again if you generate the spell that the unit had before.
Which I think it's interesting.
That?
I think it's interesting because slans were originally you would sit them at the back and just generate conjuration points, wouldn't you? But now you've got these extra spells. You've now got something more to think about.
Yeah, and it's good stuff. I tell you what we're going to do. I think we're going to have a quick look at what have we covered here. My God, there's so much in this book. We've done Sylvaneth. Sylvaneth, no change.
Sylvaneth, no.
Well, actually, no change.
Yeah, of course they were expecting the book to be out by now.
So they expected the book to be out by now. And looking in this, there are changes. So
Yeah.
these are the points values, one would argue, from the new book.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say.
Yeah.
And I can't remember specifically the example I found.
Alariel 660.
Alariel is 660, was 600.
600
Yeah.
slash
Okay.
400.
So, again, if you want to know what the new points are in the book, then there are changes. The reason I say there's no change is because they're not flagged as having changed.
Yeah.
But they expected the Sylvaneth book to be out in
by
public domain
now.
now.
Something interesting for the tournament. What are they going to do about the
Stormcast
tournament?
Well, I suppose you just have to go with what's published, which means those units have changed, even though their battle scrolls won't have.
It is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, confusing stuff. I'm not going to pick out every single change inside Stormcast Eternals. There are a lot.
The page.
The Ballista 110. I'm just going to jump down to some of them. The Lord Aquila 180, Lord Arcanum 160. Essentially, across this entire thing, Prosecutors 180, Retributors 200, Sequitors 130, Tempesters 200. What you're seeing is a significant downturn on all the Stormcast
which
stuff,
I think they needed.
Yeah, are they needed? They're not visible at all, really, in tournaments. They're the poster boys of Age of Sigmar.
Yeah.
They need to be on the table. I did some rough calculations. I think you're looking at about 20 to 25% discount on the army.
Yeah.
So just think about bringing a quarter more to the table, basically. Yeah. You know, I think it was it was more 20 than 25.
It's one of those, though, isn't it? You see it happen quite a lot. Because they're always the first army to get the book in the new edition, they become outdated quite quickly.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
saw it with Primaris Marines in 40k, Stormcast now, they just get outdated.
You know, Vanguard Hunters at 110 now. Vanguard rather. Vanguard Paladors 180. You know, Raptors with the long strike crossbows 170. Just all of those key units, really, you need to see, a move down. They've got it, basically. Sylvaneth, like I say, we've covered that. No real change, except there is change.
Yep.
What else have we got really going off? I think at that we're kind of there, aren't we?
Yes, changes along the spells.
There's a lot of the endless spells that have had a hit one way or the other. You know, the Ether Void Pendulum, 50 points. The Burning Head, 30 points. Purple Sun is 50 points. Gnashing Claws 30 points. The Soul Snare Shackles 40. Where the Umbral Spell Portal 70. One of the things that I noticed was Balewind Vortex. Oh, that's at 40 actually. Chronomatic Cogs at 80. Okay.
Yeah.
It's good.
They've had a mismatch of up and down. Yeah, another interesting thing is these additional battle profiles. So all your compendium armies, like your Tomb Kings and your Bretonnia, are now in there with the points. So at least we know they're sticking around for another edition.
Well, at least they're supporting them. That's the main thing, isn't it? So what we're seeing here is destruction units like the Auroch Bully and the Overlord Tyrant and the Git Boss and that lot, and the Git Boss Wolflord Chariot. But we've also got Screaming Skull Catapults and the Necropolis Knights and all the rest. So you're seeing points. They're readdressing the points, or at least stating the points. But they're here in the main book. You're not having to go somewhere else for them, which is all good. Including all the Dwarden and the Kingon Hippogriffs, and
there's a lot of order.
There's a lot in there, basically, which is great. Right, that gets us to the end of the book. Let's just check the chat and see if there's anything in there.
Somebody was asking for Slaves to Darkness. No, not the price change, the allegiance abilities.
Oh, okay, so we'll do that. We've got time, haven't we? I think.
Yeah.
Well, we're a little bit running over, but
Other way.
You're going to have to help me. Jaws, Slaves to Darkness.
From what I've seen, there isn't much of a change. You've still got your Khorne, Slanesh, Nurgle, Nomarch, Zeech.
Yeah.
Eye of
the Gods reward table.
Yeah, which I always like. You know, if your hero kills another hero, the gods go, woo, you're cool.
And of course, you know what I was looking for there? I was looking to see if they'd done some spells for them, but there are none. But
I think it's only armies that have a book. So
Right,
Seraphin
okay.
and Iron Jaws were the only ones to actually have a book.
It's a good point. It's a good point because
So-
Iron Jaws did get a little bit of love in this book. We should have mentioned it really, I suppose. For all the Iron Jaws players out there, so we got some allegiance
spells.
abilities. We got some spell laurea, Brainbuster, casting value of 5 if successfully cast. Pick one enemy unit within 15 inch of the caster. Roll 2d6 greater than the unit's bravery characteristics. The unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. If not, the unit suffers 1 mortal wound.
Oh, and also something that Iron Jaws players are going to be happy with is your Mighty Destroyers, which, you know, never ever happened because it was on a 6, is now a command ability. So you can get those brutes moving more.
So, if you do so, you can use this command ability in your hero phase. If you do so, pick one friendly unit, wholly within 12 inch of the friendly Iron Jaws hero, and wholly within 18 inch of a friendly Iron Jaws hero that is your general. You can make a normal move. If it is more than 12 inch from an enemy unit, pile in and attack with a melee weapon if it's within 3 inch of the enemy unit. So, extra pile in and attack or make a normal move. Either way, gets Iron Jaws mobile again.
Considering their brutes are a 4-inch move.
Yeah. Okay. I think we're there.
Yeah.
I think we're there, folks. So, where are we at? A quick 10-second summary, Jake.
I like it. I think they've really fleshed out all the different things they could do. The dog's now attacking me because she's saying she's getting bored.
She's bored.
But I think they fleshed out quite a lot. You know, open plays bigger, narrative plays bigger, because they kind of almost glazed over those two a bit, didn't they? But I like it. I really like it. I think it's a good improvement. I don't really see any negatives to it.
Yep.
You know, apart from Witch Elves going up, but they needed it.
For me, I really like the small battle format.
Yeah.
You know, meeting engagements I'm excited about. I quite like the way command points, the options on command points. And I have to say, having spent a little bit of time reading through the missions, I quite like the new format of the missions. Those little tweaks are going to make a difference to our gameplay. Keep the game fresh, keep it exciting. And nothing right now, I haven't seen anything crazy in points adjustments where you go, whoa, what happened there?
Yeah, why have they
It
done
seems
that?
quite makes a lot of sense, you know. I'm looking forward to seeing more Stormcast on the table.
Woo.
You know, I'd love to see more Stormcast players anyway. I don't see a lot of them.
No.
You know, so in fact, so much so that I might have to do a Stormcast army one day. Right, okay, well, hopefully we've covered everything you want to cover, and thank you very much for joining us. I think at an hour we'll call it a day. I'm back on Monday for a live show, so if you've got any further questions or any points, then drop them in the chat below and join me on Monday's live show, and we'll go over any of the questions there. Hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll see you all again soon. Oh,
See ya.
I'm not ready though.
Oh.
Now I'm ready. Bye.
Bye.